So today's plan is to solve one of the past papers for the year 2025. So this is basically February, March 2025. May, June, and October, November is mostly done by the students. So I was thinking to do this. This is relatively an easy paper. ठीक है. Let's see कि हम कितना इसे कर लेते हैं आज. और plan is to complete it up. So question one says, explain what is meant by accuracy of a measured value. So being accurate means your value agrees with a certain accepted value, standard value. So whenever you are doing any experiment, your value has to agree with something other than your value to a standard value. So, being accurate means the agreement of the measured value with true value or a standard value. ठीक है? Or the proximity of your measured value with the true value. Then part B may it says two solid cubes A and B are measured to determine density. Okay. Show that calculated density of the material of cube A is 8.7 into 10 with power 3 kilograms per cubic meter. So first thing is grams or centimeters are given. We have to convert it into kilograms and per cubic meter. Easy. Density is mass per unit volume. So mass is 31.3. That should be into 10 with power minus 3. And volume is 1.53. Since it represents a cube, so this should be volume as length into breadth into height. So all three lengths would be same, but centimeters here. So we have to convert it into meters. So this should be exponent minus 2 and whole cube. So once you solve this, you are going to get 8.7 exponent 3 exact value kilograms per cubic meter. Then it says calculate the percentage uncertainty in the density of the material of cube A. So we have absolute uncertainties here. We have to convert it into percentage uncertainty. So percentage uncertainty ke liye, what we are going to do, we have to find out percentage uncertainty in mass plus percentage uncertainty in volume. And since it is length cubed, so this has to be multiplied by 3. So percentage ke liye for mass, we can do 0.5 over 31.3 plus 0.01 over 1.53 times 3. Okay, because it has 3 lengths, length cubed है, so we have to multiply it with 3 into 100 here as well, into 100 here as well. So once you solve these two, what you get is 3.55, which can be rounded off to 4% exact. ठीक है भाई. So next part 3 says the density of the material of cube B is determined to be 9.2 exponent 3 plus minus 6%. Okay. State and explain whether cube A and cube B could be made of the same material. So we have density for cube material A, that is 8.7 exponent 3, and the uncertainty is 4%. So if I round it off, if we write the exact measurement, that would be 8.7 exponent 3 plus minus 4%. Okay, bhai? That's the density of material A, and then there is some density of material B. So this is 8.7 exponent 3, that's 9.2 exponent 3. So we have densities of both the materials, and also densities of both the materials are quite close to each other. If you round it off to, basically nearest whole number. So they are both 9 exponent 3, right? So we can say if density of material A is almost same as density of material B, then that means the cube could have been made from any of the material, maybe A or maybe B. तो इसमें कोई मसला नहीं है because essentially material is same. There is no no difference, very huge difference between A and B. So essentially density is going to be same. So kind of we can write statement would be if you have to state, okay. So material could be same as density of A is almost equal to density of B. So they are within the range, they overlap, kind of इस तरह से हम लिख सकते हैं. So that would be an answer here. 2025 February March, 2 marks यहाँ पे. So question one is almost done. So any questions from anyone? No question? Nice. Vivek, have you done this? Question 2 states that state the principle of moments for 2 marks. So in rotational equilibrium, sum of clockwise moments should be equal to sum of anti-clockwise moments. ठीक है, आई एम राइटिंग इट इन शॉर्ट फॉर्म, आपको नहीं लिखना है. नाइस. मैंने एक्सपेक्ट किया था कि मेजोरिटी ने ये किया हुआ होगा, तो इसलिए आई काइंड ऑफ फिगर्ड आउट कि ये करते हैं हम. अच्छा, ओके. लेट्स डू पार्ट बी. Part B may we have a solid plastic cylinder that floats on water. Okay, this is solid plastic cylinder used to support one end of the horizontal uniform beam AB. We can see that blah blah blah. By taking moments about end A, determine the distance x from A to B. Acha. This is the point where we have to take moment and we have to find this out. So we can use principle of moments. Let's write principle of moments here. So let's see what forces do we have. So we have beam of weight 1700 Newton. So this beam is having 1700 Newton weight. So weight is directed downwards. That's 1700. Since beam is uniform and horizontal, so it has to have its center of gravity exactly at 3 meters apart, because total length is 6 meters. This would be 3 meters. The other thing is, if we see moment across A, so this goes like this, right? So this is basically clockwise moment. Okay. Then there is this person of weight 660 Newton that is standing on the beam at point P. So this guy is here, that's that distance x away. So this exerts a force 660 Newton, and this distance is x. Again, clockwise moment because pivot is across A. What do we have besides this? The cylinder is floating. Yeah, okay. There is a force that cylinder applies vertically 1300 Newton. That means this cylinder here, this applies a vertical force F of 1300 Newton. So if you see the moment across A, that would be anti-clockwise moment, right? So accordingly, if we apply principle of moment, clockwise moments on left hand side, anti-clockwise moment on right hand side, let's see how do we go about it. So for clockwise moments, what we have is 1700 into 3 plus 660 into x equals to 1300 into 5, right? So let's make x the subject. Very easy. 1300 into 5 minus 1700 into 3 divided by 660. So what's the value of x? X comes out to be 2.1 meters almost. ठीक है भाई? Is it clear? So far so good. So we have figured out this distance. ठीक है, let's move ahead. Part 2, it says the bottom of the cylinder submerged in water to depth y. Okay, that's the same cylinder we have. ठीक है. Then it says we have this diameter, cylinder of mass 1300 Newton. The cylinder has mass there and show that the upthrust is 1400 Newton. Now, very simple. We know this cylinder is basically submerged in some liquid water, right? So this will experience upthrust. So that's force, that's upthrust, but this is an equilibrium, right? So there is a downward force 1300 Newton, right? And there must be some additional force. And what would that be? So apart from the force exerted by that person, and the beam thing here, which we just did in the last question, the cylinder has to have its own weight, right? So the total downward force should be balanced by total upthrust, right? So let's figure out the weight of this beam. So weight would be M times G. M is 11, G is 9.81. So 11 into 9.81 gives us 107.91. That is total downward force. No, that's only weight. The total force is 1300 Newton. So downward force की अगर हम बात करते हैं, so downward force would be 1300 Newton plus 107.91. That's almost 1400 Newton के आसपास आ जाएगा आंसर almost. So that should be upthrust. See, मैंने upthrust को basically figure out किया है using total downward force. That's very important because they say this cylinder is in equilibrium. So upward force would be upthrust, and downward forces are basically weight of the cylinder and the force due to horizontal beam. So what I did, I added both of them and I figured out upthrust. Quite an easy working to do. Most of the students they get worried about पता नहीं कैसे निकालेंगे. That's how you do it. Sure. Next, what else? Yeah, water has density 990 kilograms per cubic meter. Find out y, depth y. Okay. So we can use F is equals to rho GV, the traditional formula for upthrust. We just figured out upthrust. अच्छा, अब एक काम बड़े मजे का है, वो क्या है? देखो, अगर what you do, if you add 1300, ठीक है, plus 107.91, you know this is not going to be exactly 1400, right? So अब मैं बात आपको मजे की बताने लगा हूँ. So this is basically 1407.91 Newton, right? मैंने उसे राउंड ऑफ करके ये लिखा हुआ है. So if you're using this value, which you rounded off, ठीक है, ये बच्चे अक्सर क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं. So marking scheme में you won't find this value. क्योंकि एग्जामिनर ये कहता है शो दैट दिस. तो वंस यू हैव अ क्वेश्चन के शो दिस वैल्यू, सो फॉर एनी फर्दर कैलकुलेशंस यूज द वैल्यू द एग्जामिनर टोल्ड यू टू यूज, नॉट योर कैलकुलेटेड वैल्यू. समझ रहे हो? सो कैलकुलेटेड वैल्यू आप यूज कर सकते हैं, आंसर आ जाएगा, उसमें कोई मसला नहीं. एग्जामिनर मार्क्स भी डिडक्ट नहीं करेगा, लेकिन एग्जामिनर नहीं चाहता कि आप ऐसा करो. So that's a simple strategy. Whenever your question says show that, and then he wants you to use it for your some future calculations, further calculations, use the value they asked you to show. So let's use 1400 here. So we can make a start. Sir ने 1400 के बारे में पूरी बात बताई थी. Density is 990. G is 9.81. Volume would be for cylinder area times height, and that height would be y. ठीक है भाई? So we can easily work this area out. So 1400 990 into 9.81 into area would be pi by 4 d squared. That's 0.78 whole squared. This is the formula for area of a cylinder. Pi by 4 d square into y. We need to find out y. तो y को सब्जेक्ट आप बना लें. Solve for y. Let's see क्या आता है y. So I've had 0.30 meters as my y. Nice. Zabardast. So बेटा is this clear to everyone? यहाँ तक सबको बात समझ में आती है? Those who joined late, we are doing February March 2025 because I believe I have this expectation कि May June and October November आपने कर लिया होगा. That's what I believe. Thank you. Okay. Then it says the person can stand anywhere between A and B. Okay. So we have to sketch the variation. That's one of the favorite questions. Graph sketch करना है. अच्छा आप देखो सबसे पहले तो I'm not going to go back. I'm just going to re-sketch it here. This was the diagram we had. यहाँ पे पॉइंट A था, यहाँ पे पॉइंट B था. ठीक है भाई. अब वो कहता है कि ये जो डेप्थ है ना जिसमें ये भाई जा रहे हैं सिलेंडर. ठीक है, दिस इज द डेप्थ. और ये वाटर में था पूरा. ठीक है. यहाँ पे दैट person was standing. So they say this person can move from here to anywhere till B. So what would happen? What would be the relationship between depth? That's here. Okay, here are depth. How deep this goes to the distance from A. That was X. तो सबसे पहले तो हमने बड़ा सिंपल काम किया था कि if this was supposed to be in equilibrium, so moment clockwise or this was anti-clockwise moment and this was clockwise moment. This should have been kind of similar. ये सेम होना चाहिए था क्लॉकवाइज मोमेंट. मतलब अगर इक्वल नहीं होगा तो दैट वुड बी इन इक्विलिब्रियम, राइट. दैट मींस हमें प्रिंसिपल ऑफ मोमेंट्स यूज करना है. सो मोमेंट इक्वेशन में अगर हम बात करते हैं तो वी हैव फोर्स इनटू मोमेंटम, राइट. सो दैट्स अ लीनियर इक्वेशन. दैट मींस हमें एक स्ट्रेट लाइन मिलना चाहिए आराम से. और अगर हम बात करते हैं यहाँ पे इसको खड़ा करते हैं हम यहाँ पे अगर मैं इसको खड़ा कर दूं बंदे को ए पे, सो इट्स डिस्टेंस वुड बी जीरो. तो यहाँ पे डिस्टेंस जीरो होगा. तो जस्ट थिंक अगर डिस्टेंस जीरो होगा फ्रॉम ए से, क्या कोई भी क्या कोई भी फोर्स इसके ऊपर एक्सर्ट नहीं हो रही होगी सिलेंडर के ऊपर? सो आई थिंक हो रही होगी क्योंकि बीम का भी कोई ना कोई वेट था, राइट. और बीम का जो वेट था वो तो बेसिकली अराउंड 1700 के आसपास था, पता नहीं 660 के आसपास, जिस जो भी था, मतलब वेट था इसका, राइट. दैट मीन्स बीम का वेट था, तो दैट मीन्स इसके ऊपर कोई ना कुछ तो एक्सर्ट हो रहा होगा. दैट मीन्स मूवमेंट जीरो, मतलब डेप्थ जीरो नहीं हो सकती जब डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम ए जीरो है. दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज दिस विल गो सम टू सम हाइट, सम डेप्थ बिलो द सरफेस. सो अब अगर हम वापस जाएं क्वेश्चन पे और हम ये देखें, हम इसकी बात कर रहे हैं. So even if this guy is standing here, that is the entire explanation, we will have some weight on this because of the beam. That is what my explanation was. So if we have some weight on this beam, so that means this cylinder has to be submerged, be it a little bit, but it would be submerged. ये इसके अंदर जो है ना वो जाएगा ही जाएगा. ये इसके अंदर जाएगा ही जाएगा, right? That's very important. So this is what you need to understand कि ये जाएगा ही जाएगा. That means it will be submerged. So we are not going to start from 0 0 because even if we are at a distance from a 0, we still have some cylinder portion inside water. So it is going to be deeper. Now, as you move away from this, what happens? This x increases, right? That means this distance increases. What happens? So since this person is moving closer and closer to this, point B here, so that means this goes deeper and deeper because of the weight of the person. Now more on B, right? That means depth will increase as that person goes, to B. So this should be a linear relationship anywhere till here. ठीक है बेटा, ये बताओ ये बात समझ में आती है? लेट्स मूव अहेड। आई थिंक कॉलेज में हमें टाइम बाउंड मीटिंग दी है, दैट्स सैड। चलो एनीवेज, हम ये कर सकते हैं कि टाइम बाउंड है ना, तो हम अब जहाँ पे हमारा टाइम खत्म होगा वहां पे हम रुकेंगे और फिर हम 10 मिनट्स के बाद रीज्वाइन करेंगे। ठीक है, तो डोंट वरी अबाउट इट, क्लास कहीं नहीं जा रही होगी, जहाँ पे भी ये खत्म होगा वेट फॉर 10 मिनट्स, फिर हम ज्वाइन करेंगे वापस से, सेम लिंक होगा, ठीक है, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट। तो अब आते हैं, जब तक हमारे पास टाइम है हम कर लेते हैं जो भी होता है। क्वेश्चन 3 इज ट्रक आर, ये तो विवेक को आता होगा पूरा, तो विवेक को फेवरेट क्वेश्चन था। Calculate the acceleration of the truck between A and B, right? Acha, okay, we have to find out the acceleration between A and B. We have speed at A and speed at B, and we have distance. So simple. We can use equation for kinematics. A is equals to V squared minus U squared over 2S. So V is 22 squared, U is 13 squared over 2 into S. That's 180. So what do we have? We have 0.88 meters per second squared. It says determine the gain in kinetic energy. So let's find out the kinetic energy. You can do kinetic energy at A and then kinetic energy at B and then find out the change. Or we can directly do kinetic energy whenever they ask you to find out change. You can do V squared minus U squared. So half mass of the truck is given. That's 9,400 kilograms into V squared. That's 22 squared minus U squared. That's 13 squared. ठीक है भाई? So what do we have here? We have 1.5 into 10 with power 6 joules. ठीक है भाई? Is it clear? We have gain in kinetic energy. That's प्रकार. Let's move forward. ओके भाई, डिफाइन डिफाइन वाला क्वेश्चन आ गया भाई, वाओ, डिस्क्लेमर, मुश्किल बात होने लगी है, डिफाइन वाला क्वेश्चन आ गया। डिफाइन फोर्स, सो रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ मोमेंटम। अच्छा, आई हैव सेंट ऑल ऑफ यू गाइस विद अ डेफिनेशन लिस्ट, सो यू हैव टू मेमोराइज इट। वो आपके व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप्स पे है, सब बच्चों के पास, डिफरेंट जो भी बच्चे हैं यहाँ पे सबके पास है। सो मेक श्योर कि आपने उसको याद कर लिया। रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ मोमेंटम, वी हैव दिस। Then it says show that the average resultant force F acting on truck R between 0 and 15 is this. So 15 पे this value. So looks like 2.5. Do we have a multiplier? Yes, we have a multiplier exponent 4. So we have to find out force. So force is basically rate of change of momentum, right? So force change of momentum would be final momentum minus initial momentum over time. So final momentum looks like 2.5 exponent 4. Initial momentum is, this is 20, so this is 21 exponent 4 over time. Time is basically from 0 to 15. That's 15. So 2.5 minus 21, that's 18.5 divided by 15. So it looks like I've got the answer. That's minus 1.2 exponent 4 Newton. That's fine. Okay. Okay. So far, so good. Nice. Let's see what we have next. Oh, okay. An identical truck S has the same initial momentum as truck R. The truck S experiences a constant force. That's constant force. So we have to state and we have to explain whether truck S will take more, less, or same amount of time. Okay, so we have, let's go back here. What we have here is another truck bhai. That's say truck. This was truck R. Now we have truck S as well. Okay. So let's see S. S goes, it says constant force. That means this guy goes like this, straight line. This is constant force. So that's truck S. If you see R, R is not having constant force. R ke liye, you can see initially we have kind of greater gradient, then this gradient decreases. So we have decreasing force on R and we have constant force on S. So we have decreasing force on R. So they say you should decide which of these trucks will take, more time, less time, or same time. So first thing is, if force is different, right, and momentum is same, so just figure this out. Force is different, but momentum is same. That means this has to change, right? Momentum तो same ही है ना, क्योंकि दोनों रेस्ट पे आ रहे हैं. दैट मीन्स जिसके लिए फोर्स ज्यादा है उसके लिए टाइम कम होगा, जिसके लिए फोर्स कम है उसके लिए टाइम ज्यादा होगा. सो वी कैन सी कि भाई आपके पास जो कांस्टेंट फोर्स है, दैट मीन्स जिसके लिए फोर्स ज्यादा है, राइट, बिकॉज जिसकी फोर्स कम नहीं हुई, थ्रू आउट सेम है. दैट मीन्स जिसके लिए टाइम क्या होगा, कम होगा. सो वी कैन टॉक अबाउट एस विल टेक, स्टेटमेंट शुड बी टेक लेस टाइम एज more force is acting on it, right? Simple terms में अगर हम बात करें. So basically, as change of momentum for R and S is same, and force is constant for S. There is no decreasing force. ठीक है, जिसमें एक्सीडेंट हो सकता है. So there is no nothing like decreasing force. ये हमारे सारे बच्चों ने गलत किया था जब हमने टेस्ट लिया था, राइट. बेटा ये समझ में आती है बात सबको? इज इट अंडरस्टूड? Nice. So we have done this. Okay. Then we have क्या? A device containing a microwave emitter and receiver is placed in front of a large metal sheet. Okay, we can see that. This is microwave emitter and receiver. ऐसा emit भी यही कर रहा है, receive भी यही. Then we have a metal sheet. पहले क्वेश्चन देख लेते हैं. एक्सप्लेन हाउ दी स्टेशनरी वेव इंक्लूडिंग दी नोड्स एंड दी एंटी नोड्स इज फॉर्म्ड. तो स्टेशनरी वेव उस वक्त बनती है जब दो वेव्स सुपरपोज करती हैं, और जहाँ पे मैक्सिमम एम्पलीट्यूड होगा वहाँ पे एंटी नोड बनेगा, जहाँ पे मिनिमम एम्पलीट्यूड होगा वहाँ पे नोड बनेगा. सो लेट्स राइट इट हियर. माइक्रोवेव्स आर रिफ्लेक्टेड या echoed from metal sheet, and the incident and the reflected waves superpose on each other. So nodes are formed where waves interfere destructively, and antinodes are formed where waves interfere constructively. ठीक है भाई. 4 मार्क्स हैं. तो रिफ्लेक्शन बता दिया, सुपरपोजिशन बता दिया, नोड्स और एंटीना, 4 मार्क्स पूरे हो गए. कैलकुलेट द वेवलेंथ ऑफ द माइक्रोवेव्स. तो वेवलेंथ के लिए वी कैन यूज लैम्डा इज इक्वल्स टू वी बाय एफ, 3 into 10 with power 8 divided by 6.3 into 10 with power 9. क्लास खत्म होने वाली है. 10 मिनट नहीं, 12 मिनट के बाद ज्वाइन करेंगे. जब तक आप अगर खुद से करना चाहते हो ऐसे कर लेना, ठीक है. 0.048 मीटर्स.